Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video in the Kotlin series. In this video I'll be showing you the different math operations you can do within Kotlin. Alright guys, welcome back. So now I'm going to show you the basic math operations you can do within Kotlin programs. So this includes addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. So they're all very basic, but I just want to show you guys, firsthand how to do it just in case you want to see that. So the first one is going to be addition. So if we have a variable, so variable sum, and we can say it's equal to something, we could actually set it equal to two integers if you want to. So we could do something like 5 plus 3. So what this is doing is when it's creating this variable here, it's going to first add these two things and put the sum into the variable as the value. And the variable happens to be named sum, okay? So this can be anything though. It can be a floating point number, so you can have a float there. This could be a really big number, stuff like that. It doesn't have to be just integers, okay? But this is just one example. So 5 plus 3, and then if we print sum, there we go, we have 8. So that obviously makes sense. Pretty simple, very simple actually. All right, so we're going to do the next one, which is subtraction. So that's a minus, subtraction. So to do subtraction, it's very much the same thing. So we can do variable difference is equal to 5 minus 3 instead of plus 3. And then if we print that out, we should get 2. There we go. Very, very simple. So now what happens when we do division? So we'll say var quotient is equal to 5 divided by 3. Let's print this out to see what we get. Quotient, there we go. Run this, and there we go. We get actually 1. Interesting. So the reason it's 1 and not some decimal, floating point number is because since we have two integers here, these are obviously whole numbers. So when we divide them, 5 does not, divide by 3 evenly. So it's going to give you a decimal or a floating point number, right? It's going to be about 1.666666667. So because it's two integers, we want to keep the result as an integer as well. That's just how it works within programming languages. So the way it's going to do that is it's actually going to truncate it. So this means that it's going to take that decimal part and just chop it off and give you the whole number part. And that's going to be the result of that operation, okay? But if we have a floating point number in there, like 5.0 divided by 3, let's see what happens. So in this case, we actually get the real result of the division because since we have a floating point number in there, it doesn't actually care about, keeping it as a whole number. It can be a floating point number, which is, more accurate, right? So this one favors accuracy since we have the floating point number as one of the operands of the operation. So it can also be that one as well. Boom, there we go. So that's just a thing you should be aware of in case you try dividing something and you don't get the right value, okay? Now let's go ahead and check out multiplication. So to multiply two numbers, we can do var product is equal to 5 times 3. Print that out. And what do we get? There we go, we get 15, perfect. But similar to this one that we had before, if we have it as one of them being a floating point number, or even the other one as well, the results should also be a floating point number. There we go, we get 15.0 instead of a whole number 15. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have a floating point involved in the operation, the result should be a floating point number as well, okay? But if both of them are integers, the result should also be an integer as well. So the last one that we have is something you may have never heard of before. It's called modulus, and it uses the percent sign. So percent sign modulus. And you may have never heard of the name before, but you've definitely heard of remainder. This is how you get the remainder of a division, okay? So if I want to divide 5 divided by 3, and they're both integers, how can I get the remainder of that operation if they're not, floating point numbers? One way I could do that is with modulus. So if I do var remainder is equal to 5 percent sign 3, this will be the remainder of that division. So just imagine that it's doing 5 divided by 3 and then giving you the remainder of that operation. So we can print out remainder and boom, we get 2. So this means that 3 goes into 5 one time and then 2 is left over. So that's the remainder of that operation, okay? That's all it is. So modulus is very useful because you can get the remainder after division. All right, so those are the basic arithmetic operations in Kotlin. So we learned about addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. Hopefully you found that very interesting. Before we go though, I want to show you some shortcuts. So if you have a number, so let's say we have var num is equal to 10. One way that you can increase that by 1 is by doing num is equal to num plus 1. So you're simply getting the current value of num and then increasing it by 1 and then storing that into the value for the variable, okay? There's a shorthand way of doing this is just actually num plus plus. So that will increase whatever value that variable holds by 1. So if I print it before and after, I should get 10 and then 11. So we run this. There we go, we get 10 and then 11 because we've incremented it in between just by doing num plus plus. And then of course, the complement of that is, subtracting. So you can decrement a variable by doing minus minus. So that's called incrementing and decrementing. That's just another way of saying add it by 1 and then minus it by 1. So if we run this now, we should get 10 and then 9. There we go, we get 10 and 9. Makes sense, right? So that's for incrementing and decrementing. There's also shorthands for all 5 of the arithmetic operations. So let's say that we know that we want to add num by 5. So of course we can do num is equal to num plus 5. But a shorthand way you could do that is by doing num plus equals 5. This will do the same exact thing, but it's a shorter way of writing it. And then you have the same thing for the rest of the operations. So for minus, you can do minus equals 5. That will subtract it by 5. You can multiply it by 5. And of course, the 5 can be changed to any number. That's just an example. So I can do 25 if I want to as well. So that's just a little trick you can do, but that's pretty much it for this episode. Now you should know how to do the basic arithmetic operations in Kotlin: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. And then I also taught you the shorthand as well. Okay, so thank you for watching, and stay tuned for next episode. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. In the description below, I'll leave a link to the code for this episode, so you can check it out. You can bookmark it, come back to it later. If you forget any concepts, or you just want to review the concepts I taught in this video, I'll mark everything up with comments, so you can come back and read the code without having to rewatch the video. Although your reviews are greatly appreciated. So yeah, I'll leave a link for that in the description below, so make sure to check it out. And another thing is I'll leave a link to our Discord server. It's a big community for programmers. You can ask for help on your programming projects if you're stuck on something, or maybe you can get some new friends. If you don't have any friends, there's lots of people here. It's growing really fast. You can find lots of people who are passionate about the same things as you. For example, if you like Minecraft Spigot development, you can find lots of people who like that. If you like C++, if you like Java, if you like web development, it's a really, really big programming community. So feel free to join. There's a link for that in the description below. And the last thing I want to tell you is that if you want to support this channel, you can click the join button below this video, and you can join this channel as a member for as low as 99 cents a month, and you can cancel at any time. You get some cool perks like early access to all of my new videos, a cool rank on my Discord server like you see right here on the side, YouTube members, and also you get to see yourself on the screen like you see right now. So if that sounds cool to you, feel free to join. If you don't want to, that's fine. If you can't, that's okay too. I really just appreciate you watching the video anyway. And thank you. Thanks a lot. And that's it. So if you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And peace.